Your presence also protect us and fill us with joy throughout the evening. God, we know our freedom to be here is because many brave public servants and armed forces stand in between us and darkness to protect and defend us. May your presence also be with them, offering joy, hope, strength, and protection. God, will you be with us, and may we also be with you this evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And now here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the St. Henry High School Marching Band.
There's nothing like Eldora. 32 drivers getting ready to go green at the Big E. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, dirt racing from Eldora. What a beautiful night for some action on the half mile. You know, we raced 23 times during the season. This is the most unique of them all because it's the only one on dirt. Glad to have you with us with Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons. Very excited for this one tonight. It's been a great lead up to it. We expect nothing but more of the same for 150 laps tonight. Now, we've had 10 races this season. Young William Byron's won 4 of them. He's been dominant at times this year, but it won't be tonight because we're on the dirt. That's not his wheelhouse, but Michael, it is the wheelhouse for plenty others.
Yeah, a lot of times when we come to the Camping World Truck Series, we talk about the cup ringers that are coming in and trying to steal the show. We don't have those tonight per se, but we do have some dirt guys that have dirt racing experience. It's what they do their whole life. And I think we're going to see a dirt ringer get the win. Look at Bobby Pierce. Big summer for this kid. 10 races winning the 2016 Mid-Summers Nationals. Some of the biggest open-wheel dirt races throughout America. Kyle Larson has won those. He's driving the 24 truck tonight. He will be a real contender. And then there's a guy named Stuart Friesen who's trying to sneak up on these guys in the in NASCAR. They don't know about this kid, but I do. He's won so many big races up in the Northeast. He's a great dirt racer. And Phil, I think elbows up and the dirt racers get these guys tonight.
Whoa, wait a minute now. We've got some guys, our regulars here, that have a lot of dirt experience. How about Rico Abreu now? He struggled a little bit tonight. He starts all the way back in the 27th spot, but he finished second just over this last weekend in the Kings Royal here in a sprint car. And how about the 29 of Tyler Reddick? He starts from the front row. He was close last year. He's starting second. He finished third last year. He hasn't locked himself into the chase. A win tonight could do that. This young man won this race last year. He's already locked in the chase with a win at Gateway, but he wants to go back-to-back here, and he starts from the 10th spot.
Well, 32 trucks. Maybe it's going to be a surprise winner. The chase, as you guys mentioned, that's something to consider as well. Can you lock yourself in with a win tonight, or maybe just a great points night helps you out? We're all but ready to go, but first, we got to get the command. Let's go get it.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Aspen Dental, a smile for your service veteran, Mr. Bill Curtis.
Drivers, start your engines.
This is the 4th time the Truck Series has raced at Eldora. Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace, Chris Bell, they've been the winners. Who's next? The half mile at Eldora. Earl Baltus built it, opened up in 1954 as a quarter mile, and in 1958 it was expanded to a half mile. They call it the Big E because everything that runs here, it seems to be a big deal. And the track is one of the main reasons why, Michael.
Yeah, it's so racy. We heard Tony Stewart talking earlier. It's so wide. You can go anywhere on this place. It's a half mile long. The banking is high, 24 degrees, and the back straightaway, it's curved. So you carry a lot of speed down into turn 3.
Let's take a look at our Camping World race analysis. You see the race is run in 3 segments, 40, 50, and 60 laps. You guys can make pit stops or not in between the segments. No caution clock. And as we talked about before, Christopher Bell won this thing last year.
The race was set up via 5 qualifying races. Bobby Pierce and Tyler Reddick will start on the front row.
Yeah, a lot of dirt guys mixed in with some of our regulars here in the first 4 rows.
And Johnny Sauter's a surprise to anyone to be starting up inside the top 10. He did not have a good practice yesterday, and there's one of those dirt ringers I talked about, Stuart Friesen.
Yeah, along with Jake Griffin, another one, dirt ringer, a 17-year-old from Illinois.
William Kennedy, William Byron, a 4-time winner already this season. Matt Crafton, don't sleep on him back in row 11.
No, he's been steady and solid on the dirt, and he can go for it tonight, Phil. He's locked into our chase.
Normally, when we get down here past row number 12, we don't have any of our big names. But how about Rico Abreu back there in row number 14? Cody Coughlin, row number 13.
Cody won our last chance qualifier, so he's already won something tonight for Kyle Busch
Motorsports. And if nothing else, Rico starting way back there is going to be fun to watch going toward the front.
We're going to ride along with Rico Abreu. That's the Safe Light Toyota. Rico finished second here, as we mentioned, in the Kings Royal last weekend. He starts from the 27th spot in his Toyota.
Let's hop on board another Toyota, the 51 Kyle Busch Motorsports Toyota of Cody Coughlin. Just won the last chance qualifier. He'll roll off 26th.
This young man's going to be fun to watch. He finished second here in the first time we came, and then he hit the wall so many times he lost track. The next year, his truck finally gave up on him. He's in the DC Solar Chevrolet for GMS Racing, and he starts 7th.
How about let's go right up front. Tyler Reddick is going to drive the Cooper Standard Ford. He's got the Ford onboard camera starting on the front row, and this kid can get it done on the dirt. He's going to be a serious challenger. Phil, I think this is our race winner tonight.
I wouldn't surprise me.
Well, a great crowd on hand tonight, as is so often the case at Eldora. Tony Stewart owns the track. They do such a great job, Roger Slack and his staff, promoting the event. And this is one of the ways in which the competitors salute the fans, the 4-wide salute.
And I love this look. I absolutely love it. And I'd be confused on where to get back in line if I was out there, Michael.
And you know, Phil, it won't be anything for us to see them that wide when they throw the green flag on this initial start. Heck, we've seen them come 4 wide to the checkered flag. This place is so racy, so wide. It's a great view of those trucks out there.
The pictures describe the excitement, the fireworks. We're ready to bring it to you. Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch, and downstairs, Kenny Wallace, Caitlin Vincey, and Hermie Sadler. Hermie?
Well, Vince, the last couple of weeks, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been in the news for missing races due to concussion symptoms. Well, here in the Camping World Truck Series, John West Townley missing his second race. I talked to the team. He's getting better, just being cautious. Brady Boswell is in the truck tonight. No truck experience, no dirt experience. I asked the team why. They said they're just family friends with the Townleys. They wanted to give a young, up-and-coming driver a shot at the big time. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, we are just 6 races away from the start of the chase. And for drivers who don't have a win yet, points still matter. One of those drivers being Ben Kennedy. He's the first driver on the outside looking in. He told me he just wants to survive this race. He said, I feel like I had to relearn the racetrack from yesterday with how much wetter this track surface is. But he said, I feel like I'm at a bit of a disadvantage because I don't have a lot of dirt experience. The good news, he said, I have been leaning a lot on Kyle Larson and Rico Abreu for some insight on how to get around Eldora Speedway. Kenny?
Caitlin, tonight is about all of you local dirt racers throughout the United States. They are here in full force, and check this out. We are in turns 3 and 4. They know what to do, so to all of you, this is for every dirt fan in the United States. And oh, by the way, when I say riding high, not afraid to die, Can he do it? There he is. Jack Hewitt, the only 4-crown winner here at Eldora. In one night, he won 4 races. Vince?
One of the best ever. Jack Hewitt. Great stuff, Kenny. You can sense the excitement and the energy, the electricity, whether it's the fireworks, the joy of the fans, the drivers with smiles on their face. And even if you got to piece it together like the 66 of Jordan Anderson just to get in this thing.
How about you can just feel the passion? I mean, these people have done everything in the world just to be able to roll off and start this race. Jordan's going to have his work cut out for him, but I bet he doesn't quit.
You think he's going to have an arrow push?
I've seen trucks look like that almost win this race. That's what Bobby Pierce looked like last year.
Racing in the Truck Series for the 4th time at Eldora. Bobby Pierce on the outside, Tyler Reddick on the inside, Green at the Big E. Pierce on the high side.
That's 4 or 5 different ways to get around this racetrack.
Got a spinner already down in turn 1, but we stay green.
What a great first lap by Pierce. He puts 8:10 truck lengths on second place, Tyler Reddick.
The 49 of Wayne Edwards went around but regained power and is now about a little less than a half lap in front of the lead truck of Bobby Pierce.
About Larson and Bell, the 24 of Larson, the 4 of Bell, side by side.
Remember, this is a 40-lap segment. This race will be run in 3 segments, 40 laps. Then we'll take a break, 50 laps, and then 60 laps.
You have to be versatile if you're going to be a successful dirt racer. You've got to be able to run right up next to the cushion where the wall is on the outside. You also have to be able to duck through the middle. And that's what you can see here. These very talented racers picking different lines and trying to make it work.
That's Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell right there, 9th and 10th as you ride on board with Larson. And look at the 16 of Friesen work the high side on the outside of Bell.
Got Jake Griffin. He was over to the inside of Larson in that 11 truck. There's Johnny Stoddard, the 21, holding a position.
Look how low Larson is on the track, and then he comes right out to those guys that are running the high side. Love this look. Watch his eyes. Look at that wheel he's working it.
Take a second to glance in the mirror. I don't know why he would do that. His mirror is full of drivers and trucks.
The 16 of Stuart Friesen, one of those guys that even though he's never run a Truck Series race before, with everything he's got from a talent perspective and his history and his experience on the dirt track, you got to count him among the contenders tonight.
We talk at Daytona, Talladega about the draft being the great equalizer. Here, that dirt is the great equalizer.
Christopher Bell, the slide job on the 21 of Sauter for position. Bell in that 4 truck, the winner here a year ago, feeling a little pressure to repeat. Multiple people have come to him this week and said, just relax, see if he can do it and go back to back here tonight.
Yeah, the rest of the people were coming up to him for advice.
Yeah, you're right.
Just look at those bumps on the high side. That's getting really rough down in 1 and 2. We saw that develop during practice. Kyle Larson is choosing to run under those bumps. Got a real bonus here tonight, Phil. Larson's back in the back half of the top 10, and Christopher Bell's outside of the top 10. We're going to watch these guys really shuffle through this field.
Ben Rose, the 41 truck on the outside of Larson. He's had a solid weekend, or solid midweek so far here.
Bobby Pierce has led them all. Tyler Reddick is second. Hermie?
The 29 of Tyler Reddick, Vince. When you talk about drivers that are favored to win here, Tyler Reddick may not be the top of the list, but he's certainly in the top 5. He finished 3rd here last year. I spoke to him right before this race started, and I said, what is the key to winning tonight? He said, for me, with my dirt experience, if we can develop a cushion at the top of this racetrack, that plays to my advantage. So he's hoping the track comes in, gives him what he needs, and will give him a shot to go to victory lane.
Well, right now, those lead trucks, as you look at the 44 of J.R. Hefner, won one of the qualifiers earlier tonight, currently sits in 3rd. These lead trucks are going to get to lap traffic, and in fact, they're starting to get into lap traffic right now.
Could J.R. Hefner be the Bobby Pierce of 2016? Bobby Pierce stormed on the NASCAR map with that great run here last year. Maybe same thing may happen.
Issue for the 80 of Justin Shipley.
You can see the mud has just collected all over the front of that truck. I'm surprised we don't see more of that. The teams have figured out a way to bust all that loose. Look at on the very bottom of the track, Jake Griffin really going low. And there's Stuart Friesen trying to make the middle work.
And how about the 75 of Caleb Holman? He was the fastest qualifier during single truck qualifying earlier today. He's currently inside the top 10 as well.
Yeah, he will be our pole winner for this event here. Did not start in the pole, but he was the pole winner.
Tony Stewart prides himself on giving these guys multiple lanes to use when they get to the corner so that they've got options. Look at these trucks all over this track. I think Tony did a nice job.
He did a great job.
Ben Rhodes cutting across the 24 of Larson and then slide job up in front of the 71 of Ken Schrader.
Yeah, Larson's on the move. He goes around Schrader. Schrader was solid in third, and he began falling back.
Friesen now in the 16 inside of Schrader as well. That's for 7th.
But you got to remember, Schrader's a veteran. He knows this is 150 laps. He's going to have a couple of breaks to work on that 71 truck. He could be around at the end.
Great early run by Friesen, currently in the 7th spot.
The 63.
Look at some of these trucks he's getting ready to lap. Cole Custer, the 00, getting ready to go a lap down.
63, Bobby Pierce has led them all, and all 16 of the laps he's run have been faster than the pole speed today. That shows you how fast this truck is and how fast the race pace and the track is right now as you ride on board with Rico Abreu.
And look what Rico looks back to. That's Bobby Pierce down on the bottom of the track trying to lap Rico Abreu. Wow.
Would have never thought that would have happened here tonight so early.
I talked about versatility. Look at Pierce. He's able to run right down on the bottom. He's been up at the top when he was leading the race, but when he got to that lap traffic, the truck was good enough to go to the bottom.
Ben Rhodes and Kyle Larson, nice little battle. That's for 4th. Rhodes, the 41 truck, in 4th place. Larson in the 24 in 5th. Running for GMS this week.
That 44 of Hefner is the same truck that Bobby Pierce set on the pole and finished 2nd with last year.
It's had extensive body work.
A little bit of body work, yeah.
There wasn't a straight piece on that truck. Rhodes down to the bottom.
How about that slide job by Ben Rhodes?
Drove right around Hefner.
3 wide, Larson on the inside, and there's the 11 of Jake Griffin maybe going to go with him.
I tell you, that 11 truck looks really solid tonight. Jake Griffin doing a great job for Red Horse Racing.
Vince, right now the racetrack is getting very slippery up top. Look at Kyle Larson and Jake Griffin. Jake Griffin really young. They're great dirt racers. Caution on the racetrack. But if you're going to run the bottom of the track, you got to put the left front right down to the wall. Get that moisture on the bottom, Vince. It's getting fast down there.
Hey, Kenny, what's more?
First caution of the night. Bobby Pierce has led all 20 laps so far. Back for more at Eldora.
This is
First caution of the night here at Eldora. For debris on the track. Free pass goes to Ben Kennedy. And action down in the pit area. Hermie?
You can see the right front of the 17. A lot of damage from simply digging in to the racetrack. Shane Huffman, the crew chief, said right here on the monitor, bottom of the racetrack, the right front, also a little contact with the 22 of Austin Wayne Self. The issue with the 17, however, is this truck is really, really tight. We didn't expect a lot of trucks to pit prior to the first caution, mandatory caution. However, the 17 just too tight, and they needed to fix that damage on the right front.
You know, Kenny Wallace, I was watching these guys running just wide open out next to the wall on the cushion, but do you really have to be disciplined to take it down low where that extra moisture is? You got to let off early, huh?
Mikey, Kenny Schrader says it perfect. There's 1,000 spots in that throttle, wide open all the way off. Now, here's the bottom line. The slippery side is the top side right now. It's very volatile up there. Look here, Mikey. See this wall right here? You want to stay as close to this wall as you can. Check that fresh dirt out there. That's why Kyle Larson and a lot of those drivers coming from the back to the front, they were making gains. You want fresh dirt. That was grip there, Mike.
Always looking for the moisture on the dirt track. Sometimes it's on the bottom where Kenny was talking about, and sometimes it's right up on the wall. Bobby Pierce has been the leader every lap so far, but did he get in or over that debris that was on the track?
whatever debris it was, I ran it over right there. It gets a little tight on the entrance on the top. Maybe because it's getting slick on the front tires, it don't like the slick, but heck, the bottom feels all right.
Man, this 19-year-old kid out of Illinois, Phil, has just had the best summer in the world. 10 wins on his way to that dirt late model championship, the Summer Classic, and now here he is at Eldora. He won his qualifying race, and he's led all the laps so far.
And look at the guys around him. He's racing with Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, Ben Rhodes. Unbelievable competition for him, and he's holding his own for sure.
And not intimidated a bit. Let's see if we can see what happens here.
Yeah, there's the debris bouncing behind him.
He felt that bounce off the bottom of the truck. I don't think it did any damage. These trucks are going to have a hard time not digging those noses in like we saw Timothy Peters. This is as rough as we've seen this track.
It's lap 26 as we get ready for the restart. Remember, the first segment, 40 laps. Pierce on the outside in the restart zone. Back to green at Eldora.
Boy, look at Larson. Jump right to the bottom.
From fourth to first. Can he make it stick with a slide job? Not yet.
Bobby Pierce isn't ready to give up that lead, is he?
What a job by Pierce. And he goes into the defensive mode. He dove to the bottom so he couldn't get under him, and he's going to lead off turn 4.
An aggressive restart from Larson, not messing around. Went right after the lead from that second row restart position.
And that's what we're looking for, a chance just to dive to the bottom, search for that moisture, that grip that Kenny Wallace was showing us.
Contact Reddick back there with the 44 of J.R. Hefner.
Looks like something wrong with the 44 of Hefner. Off the pace right now.
That's a shame, too. That team was so solid, won their qualifying race, and now he's got damage.
Hefner on the front stretch says something. You heard the radio, says it feels like something broke in the rear, and he has come to a stop right here on the main straightaway.
Tough break for J.R. Hefner. Started in the 3rd position and ran up there in the top 5.
Yeah, restarted 3rd on that last restart. Now done.
His misfortune, I think, is going to be a break for Rico.
It's the contact.
Just jumping up and down through the bumps there up high. There's.
Oh, and is that what is that bounced out from underneath of it?
They don't run a splitter here, but it still could be a splitter bar that's underneath the front of that truck.
Not good either way. Bobby Pierce, steer your leader at Eldora. Back after a caution for the 44 of J.R. Hefner, his tailpipe came off, and now we've got the brake duct coming out of the back end of the 88 of Matt Crafton.
This track is just a bit rougher than we've seen it before, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of problems that could present these guys. Hefner with a big issue.
His tailpipes came off that truck, but he's being held because he stopped on the racetrack right off the caution and then was able to refire, so NASCAR has held him 1 lap.
It's a break for Rico Abreu, though. He got the free pass.
He got the free pass. Let's see if we can check with Kyle Larson. Hey, Kyle Larson, it's Michael up in the FS1 booth. Do you hear me, friend?
I got you, Mikey.
What an almost perfect slide job. How do you know when you just have to abort and give up the spot because you were inside of Pierce, but you didn't quite get there?
Yeah, I went for the slider there, and I got a little tight in the center. And, if it's later in the race, maybe you can pull it off. It'd have been tight, but still early, so got to take care of it. But DC Solar Chevy is really, really good right now. Tough to get to where I'm at, but Bobby's been pretty good, so hopefully we can get by him here on this restart. Hopefully don't cut my tires bad.
Well, I can see the smile on your face, and we've got him up here. What a fun night. Have fun, golf guy, and we'll talk to you later.
10-4, thanks.
Hey, Saturday on Fox UFC Fight Night, she rocked the world when she took out undefeated Ronda Rousey. Now Holly Holm will face a kickboxing legend in Valentina Shevchenko. Coverage of Fox UFC Fight Night. It's Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox.
Be tuned into that. Be some rough stuff. You think the dirt's rough?
Well, we've completed 33, and remember this first segment is 40 laps, so it's going to be another short run here as we get ready to restart with the 63 of Bobby Pierce on the outside, Kyle Larson on the inside.
Looks like Larson has it.
You heard him say maybe a little later in the race he'll try to take advantage of it. Oh, it was a lap later.
On board with Reddick.
Look at Bobby Pierce right down against the inside wall where Kenny Walsh was talking about that moisture down there.
Pierce not ready to give it up. He's trying the bottom. On the low side anyway, not quite the bottom. Larson still working the top, and Larson now legging it out a little bit. What a battle here with Jake Griffin and the 11 and the 41 of Ben Rhodes, both going by the 29 of Reddick.
Been really impressed with Jake Griffin in that 11 truck with Thorsport. And solid thing this entire week.
And the same thing for Ben Rhodes. I didn't know Rhodes was a dirt racer. He is getting it done on the high side as well.
He said he hadn't been on dirt in 9 years, and he's 19 years old.
Well, another issue for the 98 of Rico Abreu, posting him for passing before the start-finish line on that restart.
Well, we know how important this race is to him, Vince. Got to get something done. He could have written his ticket into the chase, put a lot of pressure on himself and that team. So far, it's been a rough start.
All right, we got to do pass-through.
So Abreu's going to come in. You heard the radio, the team telling him you're going to have to do a pass-through.
Big crash, turn 3.
A lot of damage. There's the 19 of Hemrick involved, the 13 of Cameron Haley, Caleb Holman in the 75.
Stuart Friesen.
How about that? Ben Kennedy. We talked about
Look at
Kennedy's
the damage.
need for a good night tonight.
Look at the damage on the 75 truck of Caleb Holman. It looked like Holman and Spencer Gallagher were at the beginning of this crash. I think they just dove into the corner, got tangled up, and went into the outside wall. And, of course, going into the outside wall, when people are committed up there, there just isn't anywhere for people to go.
Caleb Holman in that 75. He was the fastest qualifier in our single truck qualifying. Certainly one of the highlights of his career. Big damage to the 23 of Spencer Gallagher.
That just shows you how fast they're going. I know, we're on a dirt track. The pole was somewhere around 85 miles an hour, but that's how quickly, when things go wrong, these things can get wadded up and tied together. And, man, we saw 7 or 8 trucks in that crash, and just look at how bad Caleb Holman's truck is torn up.
Nothing left at the back of that Food Country truck.
Holman limping to pit lane. Well, we had some chase trucks involved there. We saw the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek already with a win this season and looks to be in the chase handily, along with, of course, William Byron in the 9. He was involved in that. He's won 4 times this season.
Vince, we talk about the fact that William Byron is locked in the chase, Matt Crafton, but we have a lot of guys trying to point their way in. Ben Kennedy had a little piece of that too, and he's right in there trying to point his way into the chase.
As is Daniel Hemrick there in that 19. Now, Hemrick came into this race 43 points to the good, which you'd think is a pretty good cushion points-wise, but not if he has a couple of races like this.
And just think about a guy that huge crash was a break for. Rico Abreu was getting ready to have to come to pit road for a pass-through penalty. He would have lost a minimum of 1 lap, probably 2. Now he's going to be able to serve that penalty under caution, and he'll just go to the tail end.
Remember, these guys can look at this truck. They cannot do any work until the red flag is lifted.
Let's take a look at this replay and see if we can get an indication of where it starts. Keep an eye on the 16 of Stuart Friesen there.
There was some contact.
Yeah.
It was the 75, and I believe it might have been Friesen in the 16 that got together initially, and then you can see maybe from a better angle here. But watch how this track is just blocked for these guys that are committed to the outside.
Yeah, and how was Johnny Sauter going to get by there? He actually got a little damage, ran into the side of the 75, Timothy Peters as well.
And the 13 truck of Haley, he escaped any damage. I think he's in the middle of it, but he didn't hit anything really.
Right along with Cody Coughlin. He was far enough back, he was able to see it drive by in the inside.
See it again up this up top shot, and you can see him sliding in, and there's it's definitely the 16 of Friesen involved in that.
I think it looked like he may have been trying to go to the bottom.
Yeah.
And when he did turn left to go to the bottom, the 75 of Caleb Holman was there.
Well, just crazy damage to that 75 as you look at all the trucks that were involved in this one. Ben Kennedy came into this race 12 points outside the chase. One of those guys that could have a pretty good shot, I think, of pointing his way into the chase. The good news for Kennedy, even though he was involved, looked to be very minor damage on the front end of that 33. Under red, more to come from Eldora. No, that's not something you buy at the concession stand here at Eldora, although it looks like you could maybe enjoy that. And you've got enough other good things at the concession stand you can munch on, but it is a beautiful night here at Eldora. Perfect night for the fans. It's comfortable outside. It's been a great night. But we are under red. There's the 98 of Rico Abreu. Was penalized for passing before the start-finish line on that restart. So he'll end up starting when we do restart at the tail end of the pack. He will be on the lead lap. That's the good news. So definitely a break for the 98 of Rico Abreu. Hey, speaking of Abreu, big fan of Rico's. Downstairs with Kenny Wallace.
Thank you, Vince. You know, just not dirt racers around here. J.R. Todd, top field NHRA racer. You're a big fan of Rico. Tell me what's going on in the drag racing world and why you're here.
Well, we're here with Rico and all the Thor Sport guys. You know, Duke Thorson with Thor Sport. He's a sponsor of our team at Clutta Motorsports with their company Steel Master. And we got our first race on Fox Network this coming weekend in Denver, Colorado. It'll be live on Sunday at 3 p.m., so make sure you tune in. But it's cool to watch these guys kind of out of their element tonight here at Eldora. And, you know, anytime you come to Eldora, it's a big deal. So we're rooting on Rico and all these guys out here at Thor Sport.
JR, you're very successful. You're lately back-to-back finals in NHRA. You're on a roll right now. What's it looking like?
Hopefully we can keep that momentum going, and I keep telling everybody, I hope that we're just paying the luck bank for when our countdown to the championship starts, our playoff, and let it eat in when it counts.
I love drag racing. Awesome. He's here, drag racer. Vince?
Hey, racers are racers, man. They are always looking for somebody else that's going fast, and it's interesting to see all the different disciplines that enjoy the other discipline of racing.
And I think Rico and all the Thor Sport guys hung out with JR at the NHRA race in Charlotte.
Yeah, you know what I love about motorsports? JR does the fastest thing in the world, and this is about as slow as you're going to see. And both of them are just over-the-top exciting, sliding sideways with these guys, 4 and 5 wide. This is good stuff.
Well, we were red for just over 5.5 minutes, and the red flag has been lifted. Just check in some radio with Kyle Larson.
Come on in, do your tires and fuel, and then I think you're good enough. You can stay out the rest of the race. If we hit the second time, that gives you 60 laps to try and get back up to the front. It took you pretty much 40 laps to do that right there from 7th, so I think we need to stick with that plan. Do you foresee any changes here? I'm pretty good right here, really good. Drive off.
That could be bad news for the competition, huh?
Yeah, and that's what they were talking about the strategy. He's going to come in and get tires on this competition caution. Then we're going to have another one after 50 more laps, and their plan is to stay out, run the rest of the way.
And this race is run in 3 segments, 40-lap segment, take a break, which is where we are now. The first 16 on track will come in and pit. They'll have 3 laps to get their corrections done or assess the damage, whatever the case may be with their truck. Then they'll exit the pits, and the next 16 will come to pit road, and they'll take care of their business, and then we'll get set for segment number 2, a 50-lapper. Then we'll take another break, just as we are now, and then we'll take the final segment of 60 laps to the finish.
And I think I'm going to be interested to see, Phil, how this all works out for Rico Abreu. He got back on the lead lap. He's not going to lose a lap here because of his restart violation, and his truck's been tight. We heard Kyle Larson talking on the radio. He said, I'm plenty tied up off. I think that's important. That's what Rico's truck's been doing all day. Will that play into his hands, and can he come on strong at the end?
And I think they think it will play in his hands. I think they think this racetrack is going to come to them. Now, he's got to start at the back, so there's no reason to stay out now because he cannot improve his track position. Go ahead, come in now, put your 4 tires on, and then try to make some steady progress up through the field.
And when he comes in and gets those tires, they can make adjustments. They can try to do whatever they think it's going to take to be successful over the next 50 laps, and then just hang out there in that next break and see if he can get that track position.
You don't have to come in, but we expect everyone to come once, at least.
And we expect the leaders now.
Yep. And the leader is Kyle Larson in that 24 truck with Bobby Pierce in the 63 in second, Ben Rhodes, Jake Griffin, and Tyler Reddick all in the top 5. So as they come onto the pit road, we'll go downstairs and check in with Caitlin. Caitlin.
Well, Vince, taking a look at the 63 of Bobby Pierce, I just spoke with his crew chief, Rick Wren. He said, our truck is a bit snug. We think that Kyle Larson's truck is better than us, obviously. We're a little bit tighter than he is. So if I make any adjustments, they're going to be minor. We're going to do 4 tires and fuel. Now, as far as Kyle Larson goes, I also spoke with his crew chief, Jeff Stankiewicz. He said, we are very good. Initially, we didn't have the track position. Now they find themselves in the race lead. He said they're going to take 4 tires, fuel, and make no adjustments to that 24 truck. Herbie.
Well, Caitlin, the 29 of Tyler Reddick, you see the work being done on the right rear. They put a spring rubber, pushed a spring rubber into the right rear spring of that truck. He is too tight. They wanted to free that truck up. Also put tires and fuel. And a little bit of a concern up in the 4 pit of Christopher Bell, our defending race winner. His engine has been overheating since the parade lap, right around 240 degrees. So Jerry Baxter a little concerned about that, but they'll keep an eye on that. Clean the grill very well, but hopefully get it cooled down. But a little bit of concern in the 4 pit for an overheating engine.
Certainly keep an eye on that situation because the 4 of Bell is certainly one of the favorites here tonight. Won this race a year ago. Segment 1 is complete. Segment 2 is next. Back at Eldora, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Race number 11 of 23.
That's a mess.
Yes, and that's William Byron, a 4-time winner this season. Number 5 not going to come tonight.
But he can get some valuable dirt racing experience. I think his wheels are still all pointing in the right direction. He just got some sheet metal issues.
Let's check in downstairs with Kenny Wallace.
Thank you, Vince. Bobby Pierce is good because of this man. The tall, cool one, Bob Pierce. Hundreds of wins throughout the state of Illinois, and you've run a lot here. You said last year you didn't talk to Bobby. This year he wanted you on the radio. Tell me why.
Well, I didn't want to butt in last year and cut in any of the crew chiefs or anybody's spotters or whatever, but we got talking about it, and I know Bobby better than anybody. And he said, just give me a couple of words every once in a while, like through the race, just tell me distance I got, just comfortable. And like I did in the heat race, when he got the lead, the spotter had him out pretty far. It was all fine, but I know him, and he was starting to charge a little bit. And I said, just calm down. I said, you're stretched out. Just be smooth and take it easy. You got this. And tonight, I said, look, don't knock the quarter panels off yet. I said, save that to the end. So that's kind of what I've told him so far.
Bob, I can't let you get away. I know you good. I race you every week. Of course, you're in the late models. You won the Summer Nationals Championship. That's a big, big deal. 10 wins for your son. I watch your family in and out of that motorhome every week. It truly is a family affair, and that's the way you all make your living.
That's it, yeah. I mean, it's my wife, my daughter, and then, of course, my son that drives, and that's all we do. I mean, we eat and live this stuff every day, and I told you the other day, when the Summer Nationals is over, we're not done. We unloaded, we washed, we come here, we're getting ready to race Friday night.
Tony Stewart said, when you win the Summer Nationals Championship, you've done something. Let me tell you something. I got goosebumps right now. Dirt racing family. And remember, this night is all about the dirt fans throughout the United States. Vince?
Well, you get an opportunity to talk to some of the greats down there, that's for sure. Good job, Kenny.
I talked at the top about the success of this kid this summer winning that championship. Look at those checks. I could make a living off that.
I like the one at the top,
yeah.
15 grand.
That's a summer of work right there. Heart and soul, sleeves rolled up. Family affair, coming to the racetrack and walking away with a trophy and a nice check.
And he's got a shot at this trophy and check tonight, too.
And this would probably be his biggest ever. I mean, I know it is to us because this is NASCAR and this is the Truck Series, and he's won some major dirt races, but this is going to put that kid on the map. I didn't know who Bobby Pierce was a year ago, and I got to looking on Twitter. All of his fans in this area say, Mike, you better watch him. He's going to be tough. He came here and almost won this race, Vince. Now, a year later, he's in a position to do this again. This is talent, and it's fun to watch it develop.
19 years old from Illinois. Speaking of teenagers, William Byron in the 9. Let's check in and find out what's happening with him, Hermie.
Well, Vince, completely on the opposite end of the dirt experience spectrum, you find William Byron, first time on dirt at Eldora, and these guys came in with the attitude, hey, we've got 4 wins, let's just have some fun. But when they unloaded yesterday, you could see the competitiveness in this driver and this crew chief. They really want to come out of here being a better team, a better dirt driver with a lot more experience than they had coming in here. Obviously got caught up in that last accident, a lot of damage, but very, very calm on the radio. This kid is really mature beyond his years, and he's going to keep digging. very, very impressive what he's done this year, but he knows he's got a lot to learn out of his element so far tonight.
Well, that team can't say enough good things about William Byron, and not just what he's doing on the track, but the way he prepares, the way he studies, and this is going to be a young man that, by all accounts, is going to be successful for a long time.
And you talk about that preparation. You know, he won our last race there, and he went straight from Kentucky to test a dirt late model. Obviously, these guys aren't allowed to test these trucks on dirt, so he went and tested a dirt late model for the first time he'd ever been on dirt.
And, you know, we talk about the family affair. His father, Bill Byron, is heavily involved in William and him getting this opportunity, sponsorship with Liberty University. I mean, this is a family affair as well. It's so much different than the Pierce family affair. They build the cars. They race dirt racing. William is on the asphalt and he's running NASCAR, but it's two kids with a lot of talent that arrived in Eldora with the same chance and the same opportunity.
You see the chase standings there at the top of the screen. Byron, Crafton, Sauter, Bell, and Nemechek all with wins. Got to believe they're in. But how about Hemrick and Peters, Tyler Reddick, Ben Kennedy?
All those guys were in that wreck, too. And then think of Rico Abreu. He's in the back right now, Vince. He's going to make a lot of ground. He could charge into contention.
And with the point situation facing Abreu, he really needs to win. Those drivers that are that far back in points, they got a mathematical shot, but in all reality, they need to win to get in.
You see Timothy Peters right there, lines up 7th on our chase grid to the garage area. So bad news for the Red Horse team of Timothy Peters.
Now, Brandon Brown stayed out. He did not pit. You don't have to pit even at these segment breaks. So Brandon Brown is going to be shown as the leader, and will start on the inside of the front row with Kyle Larson on the outside, Bobby Pierce and Ben Rhodes in row 2.
This is about the opposite end of spectrums with dirt experience. Brown with none. Kyle Larson, winner of some of the biggest open-wheel dirt races in America.
You see his best finish was at Daytona this year when he had that top 5.
The Aspen Dental Eldora Dirt Derby, segment 2 underway. Larson on the high side. Ben Rhodes following him.
You hear him shift gears, left it in third to get through turns 1 and 2. Got a good drive off, pulled it back and forth. There you see Pierce around Brown. He's going to get up to second.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes is taking over that second spot right now. Bobby Pierce third.
Riding on board with Tyler Reddick. Love that bumper cam.
I do too. Chasing Bobby Pierce in that 63 Mittler Brothers truck.
Christopher Bell moving up into position, currently 5th, last year's winner. There's Crafton in the 88, top 10 all 3 races here at Eldora. Not really known as a dirt track guy for sure, but he seems to find his way inside the top 10 at the finish. He's just a sign of a real good racer.
And he had to be conservative. We didn't have a chase back then. He was chasing points. This time he comes into this race, he knows he's locked in with 2 wins. Let's go for it.
And he's got a friendly wager with Rico Abreu. He said, I think I can beat you, Rico. And they made a friendly bet. So far, Crafton's got the better of Abreu.
How about Sheldon Creed, guys, in that 07 truck? Doing a great job.
Absolutely. 18 years old from Alpine, California.
The roughness of this racetrack is nothing new to him.
There's Jake Griffin in that 11, having another solid segment here. 8th place as you ride on board with Cody Coughlin. There's the 11 of Griffin just ahead, you see. And an opportunity with Red Horse this week, and it's a big opportunity for a young race car driver to come join an established team, great equipment like Red Horse, and it's an opportunity that's not lost on Griffin. He said, this is a chance I can make something of my name in this sport.
Yeah, as a 17-year-old, great opportunity.
Hey, the 51 gang of Cody Coughlin. He came to me yesterday. He wrecked right away. He spun out twice. He said, Kenny, I don't feel comfortable doing this. I'm not having any fun. I said, Cody, you have to push through it. You have to learn. He won the last chance qualifier, and look at this kid now. He's wheeling it right now. This shows never give up, guys.
And Kenny, he's wheeling it on the bottom and making it work, too. Really taking a line that very few drivers have made happen. It's fun to watch.
Mikey, he does not have any experience. Remember, the high side is volatile. That's for Ray Walsh. That's for Jack Hewitt. If you want to come dirt racing and you've never done it before, go to the bottom. Cody Coughlin wants to finish the race. He can do it on the bottom, but there's moisture down there, Mikey. He's starting to pass cars, trucks.
Well, the high side is for guys like Christopher Bell as well, and Tyler Reddick. You're looking at Bell from the bumper cam of Reddick, and those guys are both up on the wall.
Another guy that used the slide job and got to the top and grabbed second spot was Bobby Pierce. He did it down in turns 3 and 4 against Ben Rhodes. And you can see now Bell's looking to the bottom and putting a slide job on Rhodes as well. Bell up to third.
Problem for Kyle Larson.
Right rear tire is gone on that 24 truck.
Larson comes to a stop, and a caution is out.
Stop.
How about that?
We heard from his radio that they're going to hold him a lap, and they're probably going to deem that intentionally bringing out the caution, Caitlin.
Well, Kyle Larson said just moments before he had a right rear tire going down, so he knew that was happening. Unfortunate break for him, one of the most promising racers throughout the course of the night, but some misfortune for the 24 tonight.
Misfortune indeed from the lead, having that problem. 2 of the 3 years here, Larson has been passed in the final lead change to win this race. Was second one time, ended up 26th another. That's certainly not indicative of how good he was on that particular night, but this is another bad break for the 24 of Kyle Larson.
Got to figure maybe some contact with a lap truck, possibly cut his right rear tire down. You can see there it's flat.
It's gone now, yeah.
And he's going to spin out off turn 4, loop it around, and knows he needs a caution and thinks maybe that's a good way to get one, but NASCAR is going to hold him for intentionally bringing out the caution.
But he'll have several opportunities with free passes and things like that. He is going to be held a lap. It will be a 1-lap penalty for intentionally causing the caution in NASCAR's opinion. But it'll be fun to watch him from the back on it.
Hey, Phil.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you right now, my friend, that truck right there, that will become the show. You will have not seen anything like this as you will get ready to watch. That 24 of Kyle Larson will be the show, if he's 1 lap down or not. You know Joey Logano said they're going to give $22 to every time you say the word slide job. Get ready to say it a whole bunch. Because Kyle Larson will make the lap up, and he will be a contender. It's getting ready to be exciting.
Look at that right rear tire, guys. It's just totally destroyed. Put another one on it. He certainly will have plenty of opportunities, like you said, Phil, to get back in this thing, and it's going to be fun to watch.
And Kenny was referencing the slide job, and it's related to the Joey Logano tweet earlier tonight about Tony Stewart and all he's done for the sport. So Joey giving $22 to the Tony Stewart Foundation for every time slide job is mentioned tonight. So I would say we're going to see slide jobs galore the rest of the night.
Yeah, we're going to talk about slide jobs from here to the checkered.
There's going to be a lot of slide jobs here tonight.
Hey, by the way, we talk about Larson going to the back. We haven't had a driver rebound from a penalty to win all season. So Larson, we'll see if he can be the guy to do it tonight. Let's find out what's happening with John Hunter Nemechek and Hermie.
Yeah, these guys have been digging ever since John Hunter came behind the wall. A lot of damage to the front of this truck. They've done a lot of welding. They've replaced the radiator and the brackets and stuff in the front of this truck, trying to salvage every lap and every point they possibly can. The good side, they're already in the chase with a win, but this team is really working to get John Hunter back on the racetrack. He's been back here about 15 to 20 laps. He should be back on the track shortly. Also, the 17 of Timothy Peters also in the garage.
Seeing some problems tonight for some of the big name teams. There's a look at Peters, hood up. Had a good shot earlier of the crew working feverishly trying to make repairs to that machine. And there's the 19 of Daniel Hemrick involved in a big accident earlier that brought out the red flag.
You know, Kenny Wallace talked about how fun Kyle's going to be to watch. Let's see what Kyle has to say. Hey, Kyle Larson, you blew a tire there. You're going to be a lap down. Kenny Wallace said this might be the best thing for this race ever, watching you fight through the field. Is there a smile under that helmet?
Definitely not. It'd be tough. I mean, I think we'll get back on the lead lap. It's just going to be tough to get back up there, especially, you know, that Bell's up to second. Obviously, in this thing, it'll be really hard to, I think we can get back to the top 5. It's just going to be hard to get a win, but we're going to try our best.
Well, we're going to watch. Have fun, brother.
Thanks.
Well, a lot of laps left, and we saw Larson have a problem from the lead, so can't say that it couldn't happen.
Oh, he's
to
not
those
out of this thing by
in the front of the pack
a
now.
long stretch.
He had a lot better attitude the last time I talked to him.
He did. Yeah.
Running second, thinking that he was going to pull the win off in this big race. Now he's got his work cut out for him. But, Phil, that won't deter his determination to get to the front. And I think he can do it. I think he can get back in battle for this win.
Bench, you mentioned the fact he finished second the first time here, then finished 24th, 26th. But he was running second, and he beat the truck to death trying to get by Bubba Wallace that time.
There's the 05 of Brady Boswell running for John West Townley tonight. John West still dealing with concussion-like symptoms and unable to be in the truck.
Yeah, you just have to pat John West on the back for stepping aside. This is something, you see how passionate and how much fun these drivers are having. This is where John West wants to be, but he knows his health is more important. And I think he's being a role model for many young athletes all over the country that says, maybe if I don't feel exactly right, I need to find out from my doctors what the situation is. I applaud and commend John West.
And, of course, Dale Jr. in a very similar situation and drawing a lot more headlines than what John West has, but competitors throughout a wide range of sports taking the concussions and the concussion-like symptoms much more seriously as we begin to learn more and more about the brain and the damage that it suffers.
Guys, let's do mention the fact that when we look at our grid here, our rundown, you see John Hunter Nemechek in 26. The reason he's in green is because he already has a win this year. So he essentially is locked in the chase. The guys that are in yellow are up in a chase position, have not locked themselves in because they don't have a win yet, like Tyler Reddick. That means he's in the top 8 on the chase grid right now, but not locked in, along with Daniel Hemrick.
And those colors could change quite dramatically over the next 6 weeks as we race toward our chase. And it's going to be fun right here on FS1 to follow because there's so many great stories.
Those guys in green feeling a lot better about things than the guys in yellow. There's just a little difference that a color can make.
Yeah. And you see Bobby Pierce, he doesn't have any color because he is not chase eligible. Only ran a handful of races this year for the Mittler brothers. Even if he wins this race, that is not going to put that truck in the chase, but it won't mean anything less to Bobby Pierce and Mike Mittler.
One other thing, too, we run the caution clock at all the other races during the course of the Camping World Truck Series. Not in effect tonight because we don't run enough laps in each of these segments for the 20-minute caution clock to come into effect.
But the full moon effect, I think, has taken over here in Eldora. We've seen big crashes. Our leader blow a tire and spin around, get penalized for bringing out a caution. That's Kyle Larson you see there in the DC Solar truck. He's going to be so much fun watching battle toward the front. Christopher Bell has now emerged up on that front row, guys, and he hasn't had the performance over the last couple of days that we thought he would have, but the track is changing, and that means the setup could be marrying to this track.
Good news for Daniel Hemrick. He was our free pass on this most recent caution flag, so he's back on the lead lap, was involved in that big wreck over in turn 1 and 2.
And look at that damage on the right side of Hemrick's truck. They'll be coming to green this time by as they roll through turns 1 and 2.
Kyle Larson has 3 trucks, guys, that he has to pass in order to get up to the free pass position. He's behind Kennedy, Boswell, and Quapple. All those trucks a lap down. Larson's going to be charging.
Going to be like a mean dog coming after those spots and all those spots in front of him.
He's going to pass every truck he comes to. That's going to be the idea, whether they're a lap down or not.
Bobby Pierce on the outside and Christopher Bell on the inside as we get ready to restart lap 60.
2 of the most talented young dirt racers in America leading them to the green.
They ran 1-2 in this race a year ago. They're 1-2 right now.
Great jump by Bobby Pierce.
Reddick diving down. Contact between the 19 of Hemrick down in turn 1, and caution is out. That's Hemrick and the 05 of Boswell.
I don't think Kyle Larson passed enough trucks to be the free pass, but that's one less he has to worry about.
Under caution at Eldora. Under caution at Eldora for contact between the 05 of Brady Boswell and the 19 of Daniel Hemrick. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing at Eldora. A half-mile dirt. Earl Baltus built it, opened it in 1954. Actually started out as a quarter-mile track and expanded it 1958 into a half-mile, and it has hosted some of the biggest moments in dirt track racing.
It's about perfect right now, I think.
It is indeed. Tony Stewart purchased the track and is the current owner. Tony purchased Eldora in 2004 and is just so passionate about continuing the tradition that Earl established.
Don't you just love visionaries? Just think about Mr. France at NASCAR building Daytona, and this is the most famous dirt track in America, and Earl Baltus saw it, made it what it is today, and oh man, the fans are here. Kenny, this is a great night.
Mikey, I hear fans throughout the United States say my local dirt track is suffering. Not tonight, race fans. Let me say this. Check a look. Look at that crowd. You got to remember, today is Wednesday, okay? Saturday night was the King's Royal here. 50,000 to win. Donnie Schatz won. Standing room only on Saturday night. Those fans stayed here with their motorhomes. Look how dedicated they are. Let me say this about dirt racing and racing throughout the United States. Yes, it's true that some of our tracks are suffering, but not tonight. This is a testament how great grassroots dirt track racing is. And I'll tell you what, I'm laughing right now. Look at that guy, would you? He's having a good time, and so should everybody throughout the United States seeing what's going on here. This place is packed.
You know what they say, don't be that guy, do be that guy. Come to the dirt races and have fun. This guy is having a rough go of it. Kyle Larson was just back on pit road. They were up under the right rear of that truck. I'm not sure what kind of adjustment or work they were doing there, but they had that right rear tire off, the one that went flat earlier. Maybe they were checking to see if something rubbed it and went flat, just for precautionary reasons. But Phil, he had worked himself into the free pass position. Now he's going to have to pass a truck or two to get it back.
Yeah, there's only two trucks right now, one lap down. Travis Quapple, the 50 truck, is the other one. So when we get another caution flag, and we know we're going to get another caution flag, there they are working on that right rear that you were talking about, Mikey.
Working for GMS Racing this week is Larson.
What are they doing, Phil?
I don't know, you think maybe the exhaust pipes are knocked loose or something like that, and they're just trying to, the exhaust pipes are right in front of that right rear tire. That's where they come out.
Can't tell.
Now it looks almost like they're just cleaning some mud out from under that wheel well.
Well, his truck's in great shape. It's not beat and bent up like many of his competitors, so I still believe he could be fun to watch.
Oh, he's going to be fun to watch, and I think he definitely will get that free pass. Again, we're going to have another caution. We know that because we're going to have another segment break.
Quickly, Caitlin on the 24.
Well, Kyle Larson came back down pit road. They were able to diagnose why that right rear tire went down. The brace that holds the quarter panel in, it broke off. That's what caused the tire to go down, so they brought him back down pit road one more time just to check and make sure there weren't going to be any more issues for him.
Back green with Pierce. Back to the front. Ben Rhodes in second. Reddick slips in third. Here comes Christopher Bell on the bottom.
How about Matt Crafton on the bottom of the racetrack, up here racing in the top 10?
That's just what Matt Crafton does. Whether we're at Talladega or at Eldora, he's going to find his way up in the top 10, and he's getting it done down on the bottom of the track here at Eldora.
Yeah, running 3 lanes right now. Some running around the top, some running around the middle. As you mentioned, Crafton down on the bottom. Bobby Pierce, the leader, running the top.
Ben Rhodes has been so solid this entire race as Christopher Bell does a slide job on Tyler Reddick to take over the third spot. Bit of a crossover now by Reddick.
That's not going to work. Bell clears him, and now he sets his sights on Ben Rhodes, who hasn't been able to keep pace with our leader, Bobby Pierce. He's driven away from him.
Larson on the move. Restarted 21st. A lap down. Trying to get that position to get into a free pass.
Yeah, he long ago passed Travis Quapple, that 50 truck. The other truck 1 lap down. So if the caution flag were to come out, he would be in that spot as we see Christopher Bell go for second on Ben Rhodes.
Yeah, Ben got into the outside wall in 3 and 4, and Bell dove right under him. And there it is. Classic textbook slide job, and he makes it work.
You see how that cushion grabbed that right rear of that truck and sent it back on the racetrack?
And did you see the angle he had? I mean, the only way he was going to make that corner was if something grabbed it, whether it was the wall or the dirt. He made it work with the dirt.
Really impressed with the job that Rhodes has done here tonight.
Oh, trouble. Off of turn 4.
Wow. That was a case where Cody Coughlin in the 51 got out of whack. He was sideways too far and caught another truck, and it just collected 2 or 3 others. Bad crash.
And that will be the break that Kyle Larson needs to get that free pass and get back on the lead lap.
And now we can grab a few
I
spots.
think I had a problem or something.
It resulted in one for sure. You could see William Byron was collected again. William made pretty heavy contact with Coughlin. This is a good time for Larson to get that free pass, Phil, because he's going to have a few laps to try to gain some spots before the next caution.
Remember that second segment. This second segment will end at approximately 90 laps.
Watch
We've
this.
completed 73.
Gasses it up. Just gets too loose here. Watch.
Right into Brandon Brown.
And then that was William Byron, the second pounce.
Johnny Sauter was involved in that also. Here's a different look. You see.
Yeah, he was in a process of spinning out, it looked like, and Brandon Brown came along, an innocent bystander on the inside, as did William Byron and Johnny Sauter.
This will be a night young William Byron will never forget. It might rank right up there with that first victory he got this year.
Yeah, as memorable, maybe as memorable, but not as enjoyable. Back at Eldora, the late stages of segment 2. 2 segments of 3 tonight. Christopher Bell currently in second. Watch how violently Bell hits the wall on this replay. That's the 4 truck just up ahead of you. Watch this.
Yeah, this is Tyler Reddick's onboard. Bam! Actually hits it a second time and never backs off and ends up passing for second in the next corner.
That's what I love about this. I think I could have been really good. I used to hit the wall a lot. These guys, they know that's a tool for them, Phil. They don't mean to hit it that hard, but they know that if they just hang that right rear out just enough and scrub it along that wall, it's speed. It makes them faster. That's why it's worth that risk.
Bobby Pierce on the outside, Christopher Bell on the inside, and we're green once again at Eldora.
Bobby Pierce doesn't give Bell enough room to get the slide job done there, and Pierce drives off turn 2 with the lead.
Watch the right side of your screen. Kyle Larson got the free pass. He's back on the lead lap. Every one of these passes is for a spot here.
That's top 15 if he can get around Kennedy. And look how low he's taking it. He's right down against the inside wall.
Remember, Larson was leading when he had a right rear go down. Brought out the yellow, so lost a lap.
Boy, it's so hard to be patient down there. You want to just mat the gas, but it won't take it. It won't stick. So he's just trying to baby it along on the bottom.
On board with Larson.
That's the 07 of Sheldon Creed right in front of him. Cole Custer, the 00 in front of Creed.
There's Austin Wayne Self up there as well, doing a nice job.
Yeah, stayed on the lead lap right now, running in the 12th spot.
That bright yellow truck up there is Matt Crafton, and it has not got off the bottom all night long, I don't think. Crafton currently in 7th.
Yeah, when Tony Stewart said we're going to dig up the bottom and put some grip down there, it put a big smile on Matt Crafton's face. You open up that lane, he's just treating this place like it's a slick asphalt track. Running down on the bottom, letting off early, and rolling around.
Christopher Bell starting to close the gap now as he narrows in on the 63.
But another impressive performance by that 63 of Bobby Pierce.
Well, there's no question the kid is so talented. He's proven it 2 years in a row. Last year, his first truck start, came here, sat on the pole, ran second.
Roles reversed a year ago.
I was talking to Mike Metler, the truck owner, yesterday, and he said, we know we have the right driver in our truck here. Got a great pro motor in that under the hood of that truck, and boy, how is it performing?
Just like to see him get more of an opportunity on the pavement, as Christopher Bell obviously gets with Kyle Busch Motorsports, and then we see Bell's talent on the dirt also.
He's still a teenager, Vince. I think there's plenty of opportunities for him, especially with his attitude, his racing history and his talent.
He's run 3 races this season as Pierce. Finished in the mid-20s in all 3 of those starts. Let's check in with Hermie.
Vince, you see the 13, that's Cameron Haley. We've got to give a call to he and his race team. He had a pretty good day in practice yesterday. One of the fastest trucks at the racetrack. Was really the victim of a bad qualifying draw. Went in really early in qualifying. Started at the back of his heat race. Made up some spots. Started 20th. And he's right now battling Matt Crafton for a spot inside the top 5. Tremendous job for this race team right now. His truck's a little bit too tight. They get a chance to make some adjustments next time they come down pit road. But a solid night so far for the 13.
Yeah, that's not going to be long now. We're inside of 5 laps to go as we have a battle for the lead. Is Bell going to be able to hold it? Not this time.
How about that? Holding the lead, looking at the guy, looking out your left side window with the guy you're racing on your inside. That's just good stuff.
And look at Pierce navigate that lapped traffic without losing speed, but Bell right on his tailgate.
Here comes the slide job.
Bell through the middle. Can he make it stick for the lead? Not this time.
Bell wants that lead before we have a segment break here. Because I think most of these guys up front are going to stay out, guys. I don't think they're going to come to pit road for adjustments.
I would agree with that.
And keep your eye on the bright yellow truck on the bottom of Matt Crafton. You see him coming in the picture there. He grabbed 4th spot away from Cameron Haley. He's really fast. His lap times are as solid as our leaders. Crafton could be a player in this 3rd segment.
Hey, look at Crafton through the middle now. First time we've seen him off the bottom all night long.
He had a lap truck underneath him. He had to pass the lap truck.
Oh, Ben Rhodes smoke out the back end. Well, that's a shame if that's serious. Certainly looks to be, because Rhodes has such a good ride tonight.
And there's Kyle Larson. He's made his way inside the top 10. I think that could be key for him to have a chance to win this race, getting up there and getting these positions prior to the caution.
At least Ben Rhodes, in a matter of a lap or 2, will have an opportunity to look at maybe work on that truck here.
The end of segment 2 is approaching.
There it is.
There it is.
That looks like maybe an oil leak on the 41 truck of Ben Rhodes.
Look at him ride the wall there. Got into it with the right rear corner. Swung the front around.
Look at that nose. He not only doesn't have a splitter, which we see on the asphalt tracks, but most of the bottom half of the nose is gone as well.
About 18 trucks on the lead lap. If you're outside the top 10, why not? Come in, put some tires on, work on it, make some adjustments. Or if you're Ben Rhodes, you need to come and figure out what that oil leak is or the smoke's coming from. But we're going to know right now who's going to stay out. You see Bobby Pierce, he's going to stay out. Christopher Bell. John Hunter Nemechek is a number of laps down. He's going to come to pit road.
Crafton stays out. I'm going to be interested to watch him in this last run because he's taking care of those tires, Phil. He's just babying it around the bottom. Maybe that could be an advantage for him as the laps wear down.
Jake Griffin is coming to pit road. He's a top running truck right now coming to pit road, along with Ben Rhodes, Austin Wayne Self, Cameron Haley, Ben Kennedy, all coming to pit road.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out for Griffin, because he's pitting from 6th position when the others in front of him stayed.
And Austin Wayne Self came from the 9th position, Hermie. So some of the top runners are in the pits.
Yeah, the 41, a lot of damage to the nose. Talking about the radiator, they're trying to raise the hood, as we see, but he ran over some dirt on the racetrack at the top of the track, and they believe either it's an oil cooler or a radiator, but you can see the water spewing. They're pushing a lot of water. So now they just called, they're going behind the wall to put a radiator in the 41. Tough break for Ben Rhodes, had a great run going.
Boy, it sure is, Hermie.
Well, while it's chase damaging for the 41 of Ben Rhodes, Christopher Bell's already got a win and going to be feeling pretty good about his position right now. He's currently P2.
Larson drove all the way back to 7th after stopping on the last one. That was very little green flag racing, really. So I don't know, if you think everything's good, I'm going to leave you out. If not, I can do something different.
That's Crew Chief Jerry Baxter saying it can be done. We've seen Larson drive from the back up inside the top 10. If you need an adjustment, if you don't like what you have, we could pit and still win this race.
How about our leader, Bobby Pierce, Caitlin?
Well, Vince, Bobby told his team a bit ago, I think I have a vibration. I think I should come to pit road to get that checked out. His crew chief Rick Wren said, if we pit, we will not win this race. So he asked his spotter to get a good visual on that truck, make sure nothing's rubbing on the right rear. They determined everything is all good. They said, we're good on fuel. We're not worried about anything. So the 63 elected to stay out.
Caitlin, Bobby Pierce is leading this race. But if Kyle Larson wants to win this race, he needs options. I just watched Kyle Larson go through this racetrack. Check this out. See the stay dry? There's a little bit of oil there. Kyle Larson is helping his own cause. Let's watch him come by again here. He was working this. See, look what he's doing. He's cleaning that area up. Why? He can't run the top because everybody's up there. Kyle Larson is cleaning his groove off. It means he's going to try passing on the bottom. That's what a good dirt racer will do.
Hey, Kenny, I know that guy. Let's ask him if that's what he's doing. All right, Kyle, I'm going to come at you one more time. It's Michael. You're in position to win this race again. Do you think you can get there?
Yeah, I definitely think we can get back up there. DC Solar Chevy is, as the track's slicking off, I'm a little tighter entry, a little looser off, but I feel pretty competitive. So hopefully no more right rear tires going down and we should be all right.
Well, Kenny Wallace said all the other guys are running up top. Maybe you've got to hook in that stay drive, make some moves on the bottom. I know you don't want to tell everybody what you're going to do, but is the bottom line maybe an option for you?
It's not terrible. It's just Eldora has always been known for momentum around the top, unless you're, Greg Wilson or somebody. But I feel pretty good about our truck. I think we can maneuver around quite a bit. We just got to pick and choose at the right times and hopefully inch our way forward.
All right, bud. Thanks for all the great pictures. Have fun.
How about we've talked to Kyle Larson 3 times and the different inflection we've heard in his voice.
I think the smile's back now.
The first time he was leading and you could hear the smile. The second time he was a lap down, wasn't very happy. We're hearing the life again in Kyle Larson. We're going to finish it at Eldora. Official title is Eldora. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Dirt Racing at Eldora. If you've never been to Rossburg, Ohio, and you like racing, I'd suggest you make a trip sometime and you will enjoy yourself. Tyler Reddick, been up inside the top 5 almost the entire night, currently sits 3rd as we take a look at our Ford facts.
You see, their best finish here was 3rd. That was Tyler Reddick last year. Ryan Blaney the year before. Looking to improve on that a little bit. Right now, Tyler Reddick runs in the 3rd spot.
How about Daniel Hemrick now doing a little house cleaning earlier? We caught this.
Okay, we got a stick and a rag on it to clean the inside of the windshield. It's a little bit dusty down there. Let's
see if he hires out. We might use him at home.
Hey, Daniel Hemrick, Phil Parsons up in the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, Phil, I got a copy, but how are you?
Good, man. We saw you doing a little housework there. Does Kinsey have you do the windows at home?
Hey, whatever it takes, right? Happy wife, happy life. No, my guys are smart. Be on top of here. Just something we do a little maintenance with. So, all good. Last 60 laps can be exciting if the fans are ready.
It's been an eventful night, Daniel, but you've remained on the lead lap. There's been some skirmishes. You know how to get a good finish here. You finished in the top 5 last year. What do you got for him?
We're about to find out here pretty quick. We kind of struggled here tonight, just kind of some bad situations, but we got 4 fresh tires. All those guys didn't fit, so maybe tires will work something here once the slicks off even more. So, about to find out. Everybody enjoy the show.
All right, buddy. Good luck. Thanks.
All the damage on that 19, but there's Johnny Sauter with his little squeegee trying to get the dirt and the dust off the inside of his window. Timothy Peters. Now that one looks like
that's a Swifter there, isn't it?
That's full service.
You do what you have to do here.
Well, it's an indicator, I think, of how difficult, really, in all seriousness, it is to see from inside those trucks. How about a Kenny?
Vince, I'm seeing something that I don't like that much. You know, when we run the asphalt tracks and they put that speedy dry, you see that? On asphalt, it just blows up the track, and we're done with it. Right now, the bottom is a little moisture. Check it out here. The speedy dry is sticking to the wet dirt. I think it's going to be a little messy for a while. Look for Kyle Larson to try to clean it off. I'm concerned about that. Look for that lane to be a little slippery, but let's keep an eye on it, guys. That stay dry is sticking in the grooves.
I find all those grooves look a little slippery.
That's what I was thinking. It looks like the whole racetrack is a little bit slippery to me.
And these guys use the wall to turn themselves. We've seen a little bit of everything here.
They changed the format this year. In previous years, it had been 60 laps, 50 laps, 40 laps. Well, this year they switched it around, so it's 40, 50, and 60. So when we got to this final stage of the race, the track would have 20 less laps on it, thinking that it would be better in this final stage. And
look at the size of this cushion, Vince.
Yeah.
That's what these drivers lean up against when they go in the corner. And it's actually even banked more up there. So that gives them a chance to really lay that right rear into it. That's pretty cool to see what this track's doing.
And it looks like it would be almost impossible to jump that cushion like we've seen guys do before.
not impossible. We'll see somebody up on it and get into the wall. Of course, Joey Logano tweeting earlier tonight, donating $22 to the Tony Stewart Foundation for every time we hear the term slide job. And I think that's been mentioned, I was going to say 1,058 times. But
well, you mentioned it once since we put the graphic up. So now we're up to 159.
And, you know, that cushion that we just showed, that'll help them make these slide jobs because they can run in the corner, cut the corner, and then get up next to that cushion and power off. So we should see that number really grow.
That's pretty dynamic changing there.
Tip of the cap to Joey for that, and as he honors Tony Stewart for all that Tony has done for the sport. Let's check in one more time with Kenny.
Vince, you're probably wondering, what is Wallace doing with the shovel? Take a good look. This is the trophy. They just brought it down to me. When you win the race, you go out on the front straightaway and you dig up a little dirt. This is the trophy. Look here. Got the logo on it. And what I think's awesome is the track is right behind me. And Bobby Pierce is on the front row outside. And there are some funny trophies in racing. I raced Clarksville, Tennessee. It's called the toilet bowl. And the night before, you get a plunger because it's called the plunger. The next night's a toilet bowl. Well, you know what? Eldora's got the shovel. Martinsville's got the clock. Everybody wants this shovel. It's the trophy.
It is indeed. And we've had 3 previous winners that have taken that shovel home with them. Austin Dillon in the inaugural, Darrell Wallace, Christopher Bell last year. And Darrell Wallace, crew chief in that victory, was Jerry Baxter. Baxter is the crew chief currently for Christopher Bell, who runs second.
And Bubba Wallace was a surprise. We didn't see him pulling that victory off, and it was an amazing run for him. And this could be the surprise of the night. Look at Stuart Friesen. He has done a great job. He's up in the top 5. He has this dirt experience. He knows how to come in here. We talked about him at the top of the show, and he's doing the job.
Yeah, he's one of the guys you mentioned, Michael, and he is not disappointed. Stayed solid this whole night. Right now in a great position up in the top 5.
What about those top 7 positions? They all make perfect sense, except you put Matt Crafton right in the middle of them, and he says, I'm not a dirt racer.
Stuart Friesen, he's running top 5 tonight. This guy knows how to take it to the front. This is what he does. That's at Syracuse.
4 of the last 6 years, he's won this big race up at Syracuse. Look at that celebration. So
that's their Daytona, too.
He can get it done in the dirt, and tonight he's proven it.
Good look at that truck for Friesen.
Ontario, Canada driver, and certainly showing folks here in the NASCAR world he can get it done.
Well, we're just about ready to go back racing after the 41 of Ben Rhodes oiled down the track. And for Rhodes' efforts of doing that, he and his crew chief have been invited to the NASCAR hauler a little bit later. So Kevin Bellacourt and Ben will take a trip. I'm sure he didn't mean to. Have a good chat. Pace truck rolls down the backstretch, and when it pulls off, it'll turn it over into the hands of Bobby Pierce in the 63 as the lead truck. He'll be in charge of the restart. Christopher Bell will obviously start on the inside. That's Tyler Reddick right behind Bell, and Matt Crafton right behind Bobby Pierce. Kyle Larson, who went a lap down, is on the outside of row 3, restarting in the 6th position. Larson using all the track, getting spots inside the top 5, working on Crafton now for 3rd.
It's right down there where Kenny Wallace said he would be.
Crafton on the high side. It's so dusty through there.
Bit of a slide job for Larson to take over 3rd.
And Pierce got into the outside wall. It gave Christopher Bell a chance to get a run on him, and he's going to try to slide job.
Couldn't quite execute it.
Bell in the wall that time.
As the laps wind down, we're going to start seeing a little more wall banging as the drivers become a little more desperate.
And in the meantime, an update from the bottom of the track. Matt Crafton is just making it work. Stride for stride with the 24 of Kyle Larson. I think Larson sees that and says, maybe I ought to give that a run.
How about Cole Custer? We haven't talked a whole lot about Cole. He was a lap down, got a free pass earlier. Right now running up in the top 5.
Well, it's a big race for Cole Custer. Came into this race here tonight in chase standings 13th, but just 24 points out of a chase spot. And with some of the other problems we've seen from others tonight, a good, strong finish for Custer could be a difference maker.
We've talked about it all year long. We've got a couple wild cards. This is one of them, as well as the road course we have coming up in Moseport. A good finish here could do a lot towards getting you up in that chase standings.
Crafton sits 5th. Custer 4th. That's Stuart Friesen right behind Crafton in the 6th spot.
And then comes Tyler Reddick. Reddick making his way back toward the front. Jake Griffin right behind Reddick.
So high in 3 and 4.
There's
high in 3 and 4.
Our chase standings you see up at the top of the screen.
Yeah, as they run on the racetrack right now. Again, the guys in green already have wins this year. The guys in yellow are in the top 8 if the season were in right now, or if the pre-chase would end right now.
Great view from the bumper of Reddick.
I was going to say, look at that view, Vince. You get down to the corner, you know you have options. You can see Crafton running low, and then the truck of Friesen up higher.
Rico back up into the top 10, racing along with his teammate, Cameron Haley. They're racing for the 9th spot.
Well, it's been a tough night for Rico. Struggled unexpectedly through the qualifying race as Larson with the slider on Bell for 2nd.
Well, Bell lost a lot of ground to Bobby Pierce. We saw him bounce off the wall a few times. I wonder if maybe one of those times did a little bit of damage. Look at all the rear spoiler braces are broken loose off that truck.
I watched Christopher Bell come off of turn 2, guys. He pounded the wall incredibly hard off of turn 2, and that's why Kyle Larson got that run. Kyle Larson in the 2nd because Christopher Bell didn't hit the wall. He pounded it, hit it really, really hard.
And you can see, Kenny, a lot of damage to that rear end. Not only to the spoiler, look at the move that Larson had to make. He knew Bell was going to go back up, so he had to dive low, pull off the slide job. But Phil, not only to that rear spoiler, but to that rear quarter panel. Look how far it's shoved over to the left.
At least a foot right now over to the left. And all the spoiler braces are broken loose. Required to run with a spoiler.
Keep an eye on Bell and see the impact that might have if maybe he takes another hit to the wall. Meanwhile, Bobby Pierce in that 63 machine.
Look at Pierce, though, guys. He was able to drive away from Bell. I think that's what had Christopher Bell up on the steering wheel trying to run down Pierce, but he couldn't do it. And now it's Kyle Larson's turn to see if he can do anything with the young teenager from Illinois.
Keep an eye on Pierce now as he starts to get into a little heavier traffic pattern, and we'll see if Larson can continue to close that gap between the two.
You know, I think somehow, some way, Kyle Larson's going to figure out a way to run down Bobby Pierce. He's going to get on his tailgate and aggravate him till the finish of this race. Can he beat him? I don't know, but I guarantee you Larson gets there.
Kyle Larson's been here 3 times. He finished 2nd the first year. He was running 2nd when his truck finally gave up late in the race in year number 2. And here he is right now running in 2nd, chasing down our leader.
Look at this heavy traffic Bobby Pierce is having to deal with. He went to the low side of the track, and Larson is already there.
Remember, Larson was a lap down after his right rear tire had a right rear tire flat from the lead. He was leading the race. The tire went flat, ended up a lap down, got the free pass, has stormed through the field, and here he is chasing down the leader in second place.
What a great view from this DC Solar Chevrolet for GMS from Kyle Larson. Right there, about 2 truck lengths right now behind the 63, our leader.
Got a big smoker there. Stuart Friesen's truck, I think, is blown up.
And the caution is out. Well, and that's too bad because Friesen was having a terrific night.
Top 5 when he come across the start-finish line there, Vince, and now to the garage area.
The front end of that truck is pretty clean. We've seen so many of these trucks packed full of mud, but that one looks pretty clean, but tough break for Stuart Friesen.
When we come back, less than 40 to go at Eldora. Eldora, it's a special place, and the racing at the special places continues this weekend. The Xfinity Series from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with our friends at NBCSN. That's Saturday at 3 o'clock. Rick Allen, Steve Letarte, Jeff Burton and company will have the Brickyard 400, the Sprint Cup Series from Indianapolis on Sunday afternoon. And of course, next Saturday we'll be at Pocono. We saw Brandon Ignosti here earlier this evening here at Eldora, and we're looking forward to going to his track, Pocono, next weekend.
Yeah, what a great fast 2.5 mile, 3-turn oval there.
Well, maybe a problem for the 63, our leader. Let's check in with Kenny.
Yeah, Vince, we have drama for the leader, Bobby Pierce. He said, Dad, he says the truck is stuck in 4th gear. I can't get it out of gear. We listened in on the radio. Take a listen.
Can't get the thing out of 4th gear.
All right, just settle down. Don't get all nervous there. Up the clutch 2 or 3 times, and then just bang it ahead with your hand. Just bang it forward.
I banged it so hard it won't go.
Okay, here's the deal. Bobby's young. He's a winner, but he knows he's dead in the water right now. You got to at least be in 3rd gear on these starts. You know, I don't think it's necessary for 2nd. Here's why. The track's real slippery. This happened to me one time at Martinsville. A lot of speedy dry, and I was concerned. I was taking off in 3rd gear, and it wasn't spinning the tires as much. So I think Kyle Larson is going to jump him on the start, take the lead. But I don't think Bobby's going to fade. I think he can start in 4th. It's actually going to help a little bit of forward traction. The motor's going to bog a little bit. But look for Kyle Larson to take the lead, Bobby to settle in 2nd. But who knows? Who knows? 4th gear might be okay as slippery as the straightaway is. Vince?
Well, certainly a situation that Pierce and that entire team didn't want to have to deal with here in the final stages of this race, especially when you've got somebody like Kyle Larson nipping at your heels. We're going to have the restart and the shootout to the finish when we come back to Eldora. Now, if I remember correctly from my college courses, that is the waning gibbous moon phase. It's not a full moon. It's the first phase after the full moon occurs.
Is that astronomy?
It was astronomy, yeah. 8 o'clock spring quarter, I think it was, 8 a.m. I was there every... Yeah.
Right about 8 o'clock every time, huh?
Every week or once. Well, maybe twice.
You had to probably scramble to make it to that class at that time of day, and we're getting ready to see some scrambling. Just remember, Bobby Pierce, his truck is stuck in 4th gear. He won't be able to go. This is a great opportunity for Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson, obviously, to take that spot away from him. And just remember how fast that 00's been. Cole Custer could be a real player here if he can get around the slower truck of Pierce.
Ready? 3,
Pierce's
2, 1,
chances
fire.
might rest right here on this restart. Larson on the inside, dives down. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick all going with him. Larson to the front.
Boy, Pierce did a pretty nice job.
He did.
Only losing 1 spot so far.
Well, he took off and he got pushed too because he was holding folks up, and that really helped.
He slid up to the cushion. The cushion grabbed it. Look at him go down for the lead to the bottom.
Bobby Pierce can't quite get it. Larson holds him off. 30 to go at Eldora. Remember, Larson was a lap down after having a flat right front while leading the race. got his lap back, drove from the rear of the field, and now he is in front again. Rico Abreu, it's been a day of issues and struggles and challenges from the beginning of the qualifying race to the last chance race. Had a penalty here earlier tonight, but there he is, Rico, inside the top 10 in 7th.
Yeah, they have not given up for sure. Battling with his teammate Matt Crafton has Daniel Hemrick, the 19, right behind him.
There's Crafton in that bright yellow truck. He's been in the middle to the bottom of the track almost the entire night, and it's worked for him. He's been top 10 in all 3 of his races here at Eldora, and he's inside the top 10 again tonight. Mr. Consistency. 2-time champion.
Yeah, we thought Matt just ran 8th because he had to, but tonight he said he could go for it, and he's still stuck in the top 10, but that's a great accomplishment. He made his way all the way up inside the top 5, but kind of stalled out here late in the going, racing alongside Daniel Hemrick there.
That's the battle for the 8th spot. Looks like Hemrick might get that 8th spot.
Look at that, how he used the wall to turn that truck. Bounced off the outside wall and made some ground on the truck ahead of him.
How about these guys racing for the lead, bouncing off that wall?
Kyle Larson spent 20 laps of this race a lap down, and now he's in the lead.
Quite frankly, Vince, I think he had a bad attitude then, too.
Hit that wall, opens up the bottom for Pierce.
Banged it off the wall hard, did Larson, and Bobby Pierce slides up in front, and he hits the wall. And now Larson back in front of Pierce.
And the crowd goes crazy. These fans are on their feet watching this battle for the front, but I believe...
Oh, right rear tire on Bobby Pierce.
And Pierce is going to come to a stop.
That was such hard racing and just bounced off the wall a little bit too hard, and it knocked that right rear off of it.
I don't know what happened. I think he got the right rear tire or something.
Hey guys, I'm right down here next to Bobby's heart broke. Take a look. The right rear fires the motor up. He's trying to keep it running. Look behind and put it in reverse. Remember, we have clutch problems from earlier, Mikey.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Kenny.
Stuck in 4th gear.
Yeah, and there's the right rear tire going up. I mean, we're right here. Can reach out and touch him. The fans are sitting there staring at him, feeling bad for him. He's frustrated, guys. I can't take it. I'm heartbroken for the kid.
Well, it's been another impressive performance, regardless of where Bobby Pierce ends up finishing tonight. What this kid did last year, bursting on the scene in his first Truck Series race, earning pole and finishing runner-up, and then the way he has run tonight has been impressive.
Yeah, Larson bounced off the wall on the other end. That gave Bobby the momentum to get by. Tried to do the slide job, just got a little bit overcooked it into the corner, got that right rear into the wall, and unfortunately cut that right rear down.
That just tells you how close to perfection you have to be in order to pull those moves off. It looked exactly like he did everything he needed to grab the lead of this race and just jumped that cushion and got into the outside wall.
Yeah, Kenny's trying to tell the safety guys to push him back. Push him back.
He's got no clutch. I'm just trying to help him out, guys. The corner workers don't understand what's going on. And Bobby's sitting here looking at me, and they don't understand. Get a tow truck, pull him back. Oh, this is aggravating. All of us racers
push him.
go
There we
through
go.
this.
Now we got the idea.
I wish I could get out there right now, but they get mad at me if I get on the track.
Yeah, thank goodness there's a fence there. I think Kenny would be on the other side of it, and then we'd have a real
Bobby,
problem.
just shut the motor off, guys. That's it. Corner workers don't understand. They're doing their job. They've done nothing wrong. Bobby, just shut the motor off. Now the tow truck comes out. Now we have communication.
But he's got issues. I mean, even if they did pull him off, they're going to have a hard time with that flat right rear tire getting him going again.
Mikey, the kid's 19 years old. He don't want to give up. Me and you and Phil, when we were 19, we had the whole front end knocked off, and we're like, get us on the track.
Unfortunately, they're going to probably make Bobby go to the infield care center because he made contact with a wall and is not able to get going on under his own power, so they will make him get out of the truck and go to the infield care center.
That is correct.
What a valiant effort again for that young man, though. A year ago, just so close to getting the victory, and tonight he looked like one of the dominant trucks here.
Well, it sets the stage for a slugfest to the end between Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell.
And can Bell overcome that big bounce off the outside wall? Looks like he's doing that so far. Been able to keep pace with our leaders.
Yeah, Vince, so here's the deal. Bobby Pierce is a local dirt racer. He's only ran a handful of NASCAR races. He looked at the ambulance man like, oh, what do you want me to do? Why do you want me to get in the ambulance? I have a flat tire. NASCAR feels he's bounced off the wall. It's procedure, but it is very heartbreaking to see Bobby Pierce not understand. Bobby has no idea why he's going to the medical center. He's hit the wall like this every lap of his racing career. It's called bouncing off the wall. So interesting to watch Bobby's reaction, but what a gentleman. He said, okay, I'll go.
Well, and as you said, I thought key word there, Kenny, procedure. If you can't drive it away, you have to go to the medical center, and that's what Bobby's doing.
If he didn't have a transmission there, if he could have backed up and went on, that would have been fine.
Less than 20 to go when we return. Saturday, Major League Baseball on FS1 is back, and it's a big-time doubleheader. All-star catcher Buster Posey and the Giants taking on Mark Teixeira and the Yankees. Then it's the Rangers meeting the Royals in a game you can only see on FS1. The action begins 4 p.m. Eastern on FS1 Saturday, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Check in one more time downstairs with Hermie.
Jerry, back to the crew chief for Christopher Bell. Getting down to crunch time, does he have enough?
Truck's pretty tight right now, and he's bouncing off fence quite a few times, so I don't know how much more of that it'll take, but as you can see with what just happened with Pierce, you never know what's going to happen, so we'll just ride this thing out as good as we can. Hopefully it'll start turning a little bit better.
Caitlin Vincey?
Well, I'm joined by Jeff Stankowitz, the crew chief for Kyle Larson. How impressed are you with the efforts of your team and your driver overcoming some adversity now to lead the race?
Man, everybody's worked really hard at GMS, and these guys deserve this race. Hopefully everything goes good here. Kyle, it's a lot of fun working with Kyle. Obviously, he makes us all look really good this weekend. It's been an up and down weekend for us. We were pretty good last night. We struggled a little bit today. So hopefully if we get a good restart here and nothing crazy happens, I think we can race them. The 29 is going to be tough to beat, I think. But I think if everything goes good, we'll be fine.
Kyle Larson currently on pace to win here at Eldora, guys.
The Aspen Dental Eldora Dirt Derby, green with 16 to go.
Look at Rico up through the middle here. Rico's found himself battling for a top 5 spot. Jake Griffin on the bottom as well in the 11th.
Reddick squeezed out of that mix. Now Reddick to the top behind Bell as Rico Abreu slides the middle.
Oh, contact from Bell to the back of Larson. Pushed him down into turn 1.
Larson maintains the lead.
Stankowitz talked about the 29, and look at Reddick. He's really starting to put on the pressure.
Our Camping World 15 to go. Kyle Larson leads Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Rico Abreu, and Jake Griffin, all in the top 5.
Remember, Rico had to make this race through the last chance qualifier.
Currently in 4th. He's gotten around Cameron Haley and Griffin, but he looks like he's still tight. Bill, the truck way up the track, and he's losing ground to the leaders.
Larson trying to hold off Bell. Bell was the winner a year ago. Larson in his 2 previous attempts has been so close, but has been denied. As you see part of that back bumper hanging off that 24 truck of Larson.
And what Bell's goal is, Phil, is just put the pressure on Larson. Heat him up, make him drive that truck right on the edge of control, hoping he jumps the cushion and makes a mistake. But that kid doesn't make many.
What a comeback for Kyle Larson. You mentioned earlier, Vince, he spent 20 laps of this race, a lap down. Got the free pass, got back up in position, got the lead back.
Rico Abreu around Griffin and Reddick. He's up to the 3rd spot now. Great recovery by Rico.
How about Cole Custer, the 00 going after Cameron Haley? That's a battle for the 6th spot. How about right behind Cole Custer, Austin Wayne Self doing such a great job in that 22 truck. Right now running 8th. There he is.
And he's just like Matt Crafton. He's really dedicated himself to the bottom of the racetrack and is making it work.
Self, one of those drivers that started every race and is still in the mix for a potential chase spot this season. He'd be a long shot he'd be a long shot, but he's having that kind of race tonight.
He has been impressive tonight, Vince.
Continue to give him an opportunity.
We're inside 10 to go. Kyle Larson is just slowly creeping away from our second place truck of Christopher Bell.
Larson and Bell came up through the same system, running midgets for Keith Coons. Larson made his way to NASCAR, and it opened the eyes of so many drivers that they could do it too, especially with the support of Toyota like he had when he raced for Keith Coons in the United States.
Look at Bell just hanging it out.
Ranks.
That time he was 2/10 quicker than our leader, Phil. Christopher Bell is not giving up.
He has some time here. 6.5 laps to go.
And there's traffic ahead as well. One slip. These guys will be side by side. Look at that.
Bell into the wall again. Certainly not going to help his chances, but he keeps digging.
You heard Jerry Baxter said, we've been in the wall a few times. I don't know how many more times it can take it.
One more time right there.
But look, you can see he's not losing much ground.
There's Jerry Baxter up on the fence, watching his driver, Christopher Bell. 5 laps to go at Eldora.
A lot of the lap trucks giving these guys the outside. Being very courteous.
Larson hasn't gotten off the top since he took the lead.
Trying to get his second Truck Series win. He won at Rockingham a few years ago. There's Daniel Hemrick, the 19 truck, fought back from a lot of issues, racing with Austin Wayne Self now for the 8th spot.
Three laps to go for Kyle Larson at Eldora. Christopher Bell has closed down to just outside of a second.
I really felt like when we talked to Kyle Larson, he was overreacting about being behind. I knew he had this in him. I knew he was going to be able to battle back, but can he hold off Christopher Bell?
2 more smooth laps here.
Over these last 2 laps.
2 more smooth laps. I haven't seen a smooth lap yet.
What would that look like at Eldora?
Bell just hoping that Larson can make a mistake. Bell stay close enough to capitalize.
There's a big glob of trucks just ahead of our leaders.
The white flag is out for Kyle Larson. Bell got into the wall again.
But he's closing. He's closing ground on our leader.
Look at all the lap track in front of him. I don't know if it's going to be an issue or not.
Here comes Kyle Larson through turns 3 and 4. Larson is going to win at Eldora.
Attaboy, buddy. Checkered flag.
So close before, and tonight he does it. Kyle Larson wins. From the back to the front after being a lap down, spent 20 laps a lap down.
Hey, the smile's back.
I think it was back the last time we talked to him.
And it is certainly a popular victory here at Eldora. Let's go downstairs.
Vince, it was an up and down day for the 2014, but they find themselves in victory lane. Jeff Stankiewicz, his crew chief, with me now. How special is this one for you, a win at Eldora Speedway?
Man, any win you get a special, but to come here with Kyle, who's tried this a couple of times already, it's really cool. We're just grateful for the opportunity to get to do it with him. Like I said, he makes us look really good. These guys have worked really hard. We got a great group with GMS. I want to thank everybody involved. Everybody at the shop, they work really hard. So it's special. We've had an up and down year on this team, so this helps everything. A win always helps.
Congratulations. Enjoy it. Kenny?
Bobby Pierce, what a run. You had the crowd on their feet. You went for the slide job down there to get back by Kyle Larson. Tell me what the grip level you felt getting in there.
I didn't think it'd be that slick, but I think, like you said, the baby powder, whatever it was, made it really slick getting in there. And I thought it went a little too hot, but then I knew the truck would have stuck a little bit in the center on those crumbly stuffs, but it just kept sliding, and I was like, oh, this ain't gonna be good. And then I hit it, and I guess it popped the right rear off the rim, and it is what it is, and I, spun out there. But I don't know, I had to come in to the care center, but guess just, it's mandatory. And
Yep, it is.
I don't know. And, heck, I really wish that caution when it came out, because under caution, I was trying the whole time to get out of fourth gear, and it never went. Some guys are restarting in second or third, and that's what really bit me tonight. But, Larson had a very fast truck tonight, and he was driving it perfect, too. And, Bell was a little bit behind me, so I'm sure it would have been a great race. But, hey, it is what it is. We ran good all night, got a heat win, and, I'm sure the guys are happy. And just big thanks to all the sponsors and everyone that supports me. And, going to the next race, I'm not sure if I'll be doing any more asphalt stuff unless I try to get sponsorship. It just takes a lot to do it. But, hey, we'll be racing some dirt here and there, so hopefully see some fans out there.
Okay, Bobby. Hermie, what do you got, buddy?
Well, Christopher Bell, last year's winner, you come home second. We talked to Jerry Baxter. He said just a little bit too snug for you all night.
Yeah, we got going pretty good there for a while, but it seemed like the more it got built up on the fence and curbed up off of 2, the worse we got. But overall a good day for us. Come out here with a second, it would have been nice to win. But Larson's been here for a long time trying. But, man, just really thankful to be here. Really thankful to be driving this number 4 car. Really can't thank JBL, Toyota, all the guys at TRD enough. Man, it's an honor to be here.
That's Christopher Bell. He's second tonight.
The fireworks describe the kind of night it's been for everyone involved. The fans enjoyed it, and they gave this young man a congratulatory standing ovation. It means a lot to Kyle Larson to be a winner at Eldora. It wasn't an easy night. Rico Abreu had to give it all he had to finish third, and his friend Kyle Larson driving it to victory lane, certainly the place that Rico hoped his night would end. Wasn't to be, but still a valiant effort for the young man driving the 98. Hermie?
Yeah, I know you're happy for your buddy Kyle Larson, but what an up and down day for you. Your team persevered through some struggles today. Come on with a third place finish.
From Quincy, Illinois, I've been telling everybody you're
so hard. It's all about teamwork and leadership, and that's what we've been building off of. We had a good truck. It's just tight in the cushion, tight on the bottom, tight in the middle. So we just had to work on it and work on it and work on it. And by the time at the end, it was just a little too late. But we contended there on that last restart. I just felt like we didn't have as much speed as the first and second place cars. So hats off to Safe Light. A lot of them were out here tonight cheering me on. DC Solar on Kyle's car. They're all family to us, and as well as Brand. So I had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to next year.
That's Rico Abreu. He comes home third at Eldora.
Let's go to victory lane and celebrate with the winner, Kyle Larson.
Well, Kyle Larson and this 24 team overcame adversity in the early goings, but now they find themselves in victory lane this evening. Kyle, you've won in a lot of different series here at Eldora Speedway. Now you've done it in a truck. What does this one mean to you?
It means a lot, especially losing the way I did the 2 years I ran. So thanks to everyone on this GMS racing team, DC Solar for coming on board for this. It was very special for them. I knew with running a blue 24, I had to run hard here at Eldora. Rico does a really good job in the sprint car of that. So I had to put on a show. We got the flat tire there early, and I knew we'd get a lucky dog. I just didn't know if I could get back to the top 3 as quick as I did, and it just worked out where I got by Bell when he got in the wall, and then I think Bobby had a gear issue, and he was definitely better than I was for sure, but we were able to, well, I guess I didn't really hold him off. He slid in there and hit the wall and got a flat, I think. So hated that we couldn't race with him, but I was happy when he was out. Almost gave it away again after that restart. I went to the middle of 3 and 4 in third gear, and I missed a shift off turn 4 to get to 4th, and Bell got into my back bumper. Thankfully, he wasn't inside of me because he had got the lead there and probably would have been, he'd probably be standing where I am. So
happy he didn't get by me. But thank all you fans for coming out. Thank everybody at home watching. Once again, thanks DC Solar, Target, Eneos, Parker Store, everybody who helps out to allow me to have fun and do what I love. So just enjoying it. Love to be back here on dirt. Tony had the track amazing. I've been bugging it for 3 years to get this thing with some moisture in it, and he did, and it was fun, man. We had a cushion against the wall in 3 and 4. 1 and 2 was tricky with some bumps there, so just had a blast.
Congratulations. Kyle Larson is your 2016 Eldora Speedway truck winner.
And see the smile and the joy on the face of Kyle Larson. As we look at our championship standings in relation to the chase, maybe a little shuffling there in those drivers that have not won. Hemrick, Peters, Tyler Reddick still there. Ben Kennedy lost some spots on the outside.
Yeah, Hemrick fought back for a top 10, Vince. That keeps him 46 points to the good right now.
And Cole Custer creeps into contention with that solid run he had tonight. So this is going to get intense before we get to our chase.
Yeah, remember, we've got 5 more races before our chase begins. Pocono, Bristol, Michigan. We'll go to the road course of Canada, Chicagoland.
Yeah, another bit of a wild card there at the road course.
And then the chase will begin September 24th in New Hampshire.
When we talked about our regulars versus the interlopers, I didn't make Kyle Larson out to be a cup guy coming here to race. He's a dirt racer that came here to try to grab the victory, and that's exactly what he is able to do. Held off your guy, Christopher Bell.
How about dirt guys, top 5 positions? Dirt guys, whether they're regular Truck Series racers, they all got their start on dirt, all in the top 5.
Next week, we'll be at Pocono, Camping World Truck Series practice on Friday, qualifying on Saturday. Of course, the setup will get you ready to go racing, and then next Saturday at 1 o'clock, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Pocono. For Kenny Wallace, Hermie Sadler, Caitlin Vincey, great job downstairs in the pits. Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. Thanks to Tony Stewart and Roger Slack and their entire staff here at Eldora for putting on another wonderful show. That's it from here at Eldora. Now stay tuned to FS1, Kevin Burkhardt, and the Major League Baseball whip around. Kyle Larson, your NASCAR Camping World Truck Series winner at Eldora.